Good day, Shannons and Mr. Calderon. Today we are going to discuss the life of the philosopher René Descartes. So, who was René Descartes? René Descartes was a great French mathematician and philosopher during the 17th century. He is considered as a precursor to the rationalist school of thought, and due to his vast contributions to the fields of mathematics and philosophy. He is often known as the father of modern philosophy. René Descartes was extensively educated, first at a Jesuit college at age 8, then earning a law degree at 22. But an influential teacher set him on a course to apply mathematics and logic to understanding the natural world. This approach incorporated and contemplation of the nature of existence and of knowledge itself. Hence his most famous observation, "I think, therefore I am."
Descartes was born on March 31, 1596 in La Haye-en-Touraine, a small town in central France, which has since been renamed after him to honor its most famous son. He was the youngest of 3 children, and his mother, Jeanne Bouchard, died within his first year of life. His father, Joachim, a council member in the provincial parliament, sent the children to live with their maternal grandmother, where they remained even after he remarried a few years later. But he was very concerned with good education and sent René at age 8 to boarding school at the Jesuit College of Henry IV in La Flèche, several miles to the north, for 7 years.
Like his father and many other relatives, Descartes' family wanted him to become a lawyer. In order to achieve this, he went to Poitiers to study law, obtaining a degree in 1616. But he never practiced law or joined the government. Instead, he became a gentleman soldier moving in to support the Protestant Prince Maurice against the Catholic parts of the Netherlands, which parts later formed Belgium, which were controlled by Spain, a Catholic land like France, but at this point an enemy.
Next, we'll talk about the most outstanding contributions of René Descartes in the philosophical and scientific field for modernity. Number 1. He changed the way of conceiving and treating the philosophical study. Prior to his proposal, the lectures on philosophy were based on the scholastic method. This methodology consisted only in comparing the arguments presented by recognized philosophers or considered as an authority, without considering any scientific basis. Number 2. The res cogitans and the extensive res. Descartes considered that there were two substances in humans, a thinker, who are called res cogitans, and another one belonging to the realm of the physical, quoted as extensive res. Although this could not be fully demonstrated today as a universal truth, it undoubtedly paved the way for one of the greatest debates in modernity, philosophical as well as scientific, on the body, the existence of the mistress and the relationship or communication between these two elements. Number 3. Precursor of rationalism. He placed thought in a prominent place as proof of the existence of both humans and reality. This current that originated this thinker is called rationalism, and this arises after doubting everything around him to conclude that the clearest proof, even of its existence, was his ability to think. Number 4. He contributed to physical theories. He tried to explain different phenomena on the plane of physics, even coming close to the idea of Copernicus. In regard to the heliocentric system, although it later dismissed these approaches, mainly because they are considered by the Catholic Church as heresy. Number 5. Scientific method. The elaboration of a scientific method helped to free the sciences from speculations and vague dissertations, and that this was consolidated as such. The objective was that through the monitoring of some unnecessary steps that contemplated the verification of the data of the reality, it was reached with certainty.
Father of geometry. Another of its great contribution was in the field of mathematics given its investigation on geometry, since it contributed to that the analytical geometry was systemized. Creator of the exponent method. One of its great achievements, and that persists in the present, it is use that is made to signal the powers. This achievement is also due to Descartes, while he created the method of exponent. Development of the Cartesian law. Thanks to their contributions, it is possible to have today the so-called Cartesian law of signs, which allow to decipher the roots both negative and positive with the algebraic equation. Introduction of letters in mathematics. Given their researchers, it is possible to make use of the first letter on the alphabet in the field of mathematics. When the quantities are known A, B, C, D, and the last ones U, V, W, X, Y, Z, when these are not known. Theory of equation. Descartes contributed to develop what is now known as the theory of equations. This was based on the use of the signs that he himself created to determine the nature of the roots of the given equation.
Descartes 4 rules. Rule 1 is to never believe anything unless you know it to be true. Rule 2 is to analyze every problem into as many parts as are necessary to resolve the problem. Rule 3 is to find the easiest solution and work up to the most difficult. Rule 4 is to always check thoroughly for oversights.
These are the famous quotes of Rene Descartes. If you would be a real seeker after truth, it is necessary that at least once in your life you doubt, as far as possible, all things. By Rene Descartes. This means true going doubting of all that you have been taught requires great personal courage, for calling into question things like your religious beliefs, cultural values, and even beliefs about yourself can be, in the short term, a very disruptive enterprise. I think, therefore I am, by Rene Descartes. The explanation for this is that he found that he could not doubt that he himself existed, as he was the one doing the doubting in the first place. It is not enough to have a good mind. The main thing is to use it well. By Rene Descartes. The quote urges us to learn how to use our mind and to use it well. That takes practice, and that takes time, effort, and the willingness to think. It might not be high on your priority list, but it does pay dividends, or at least I think so. Therefore, it is for me. Common sense is the best distributed thing in the world, for everyone thinks he is so well endowed with it that even those who are hardest to satisfy in all other matters are not in the habit of desiring more of it than they already have. By Rene Descartes. The common sense he is referring to is the link between the body and its senses, and the true human mind, which according to Descartes must be purely immaterial, unlike Aristotle, who had placed it in the heart. By the time of Descartes, this faculty was thought to be in the brain, and he located it in the pineal gland.
Lastly, we'll discuss Rene Descartes' main ideas or concepts. Descartes recognizes at least three innate ideas: idea of God, idea of mind or finite, idea of body or indefinite. In the letter to Elizabeth, he includes a fourth, the idea of the union of mind and body.
And that is our presentation. I hope you enjoyed the life of Rene Descartes that we discussed. Thank you for listening.